Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're consuming this podcast from. Welcome to another episode of Startup Confessions with Jesse. And today I have Abizer Rasheed. Come on, man. Abizer Rasheed in the house, man. Wow. Awesome. It's great to have you, man, on the show. Abizer is a transformational intention coach. He works with clients on areas of life that are not working as they would like, transforming them, restoring power, affinity, and zest for life. Abizer is the host of the podcast, The Bigger Game, from surviving to thriving. Ladies and gentlemen, Abizer.
Jesse, that's very kind of you. Thanks for inviting me to your show this morning, this afternoon, or this evening.
Abizer, it's great to have you on the show, honestly. So, give us a bit about your background. What do you mean by transformational intention coach?
So, I've been doing this about 20, 25 years. And what I've come to realize is that, human being typically lives on a slope line of one, living life like this, right? I get a little bit better every day. Over time, I get to where I want to get to. Transformational is going straight up. Like if I, say I'm selfish today and I want to be generous, that's my goal. I want to be generous. So typical human being approach is, I'll get a little bit better. I'll go from A to Z, right? And eventually I'll become A is selfish, right? And Z is generous. And at some point I'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, and eventually I'll get to Z and I'll be generous. And if I'm not 6 foot under by the time I get to H, I'm lucky, right? Transformation is like, let's just be generous right now. And let's shed everything that isn't generous. So I want to be generous with Jesse right now, but I really don't want to be. I got some concerns, considerations, and I get to be, because that's how I get to be generous. So let's live my best life right now. So that's where the coaching comes in, right? It allows some separation from my concerns, considerations, and so I get to look at the bigger picture and determine what I choose to do in that moment. Should I be generous with Jesse or not?
Awesome, man. So, who are the kind of people you serve? Who are the people you serve?
Well, I'm humbled to serve all types, from students to seniors, and everybody in between. The target right now seems to be more executives or business owners who seem to have it all figured out, right? They're doing really that. They're killing it financially, yet there's still something empty inside, right? And tend to find a lot of those people and work through what that is for them: imposter syndrome, emptiness, right? Relationships aren't working as well as they'd like. They can't understand some of their employees, things like this.
So, most of your clients come to you in that state of confusion, right?
They're up there. They're all champions, right? They're all champions up to great things, and sometimes we just need, we need a coach to get us, so we can hit that home run.
More like getting them from point A to point B.
Or Z in this case. Yeah, overnight, right? Transformationally.
All right. So give us a typical look at an executive who is, at that point, just give us a model of that executive who is at that, crazy point, and then he comes to you.
Well, sometimes we have different roles in an organization, right? So we have like a visionary, or we have an integrator. Some of these words are a lot more commonplace these days, and people can relate to those, right? If you're ever looking at the Working Genius, there's like 8 different roles that people play in a meeting, right? And for example, right, I am the visionary. And so I have all these great ideas. My job is to see the bigger picture and to see what's coming ahead and have all these great ideas. And I bring that to the meeting. Well, I'm jumping from one thing to the next and creating the next vision and doing all of that, right? And I'm all excited because it's my vision. And
Yeah.
one of the roles potentially is a discerner in that group, right? The discerner's role is to, yeah, but what about this? What about this? What about this? And they're
Yeah.
naturally like that. And that's actually their strength. If I don't recognize that as their strength, I look at that person as somebody who is getting in my way. I have all these great ideas, and this person continues to come with objections and concerns and gets in the way. I can have all those kinds of thoughts. Yes. When I recognize that that person's role is actually there to support my efforts and to make my vision that
Yeah.
much bigger and that much stronger, because, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's a great objection. I didn't think about that. Right. Because many times I'm blinded by my own vision and my love for what I just created, that I don't see the whole picture. So when I start relating to that person as a valuable contribution, now I'm chasing that person. Hey,
Yeah.
let me stop you in the hallway. I got a question. What about this? Well, what do you think about this? Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Right. I'm actually looking forward to that feedback versus, becoming disempowered by it. Just a small example.
Yeah. Yeah. We honestly need to hear that example because we need to find out how the model of the executive should actually be. That point where he feels, oh, I need a coach. I need someone who can take me from point A to point Z. There has to be that problem source. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So give us a background on how long have you been doing this?
But so, we have a family business that my dad started, that I was blessed to
Okay.
step into. And that transition for me uh, was interesting because my own head trash, I'd made up that, my dad did X and I had to do a gazillion X. And so it was a very weighty, very difficult time. And so I did a bunch of work, transformational work in semiconductor, and I came to realize that I got to the other side of that myself, and I started realizing that people around me were dealing with their own things in their own way, right? Whatever their situation was,
Okay.
and so I just started paying it forward over time. And what I've come to realize
Okay.
is that the juice for me is to be able to play a small part in people's journeys as they traverse this road themselves. I mean, they do all the heavy lifting, and they're the courageous ones, and they got to take all those steps. But to have played some small part in that, said something, asked a question, whatever it was, that shifted their trajectory from this to this, and then watching their life just explode with color and zest, right, is amazing
Yeah.
to me. So, such a blessing and a privilege.
And how long has that been right now? How long has it been?
About 20, 25 years now.
Woo! 25 years, man. That's a long time. That's a really, really,
Yeah.
really long time.
I think I just did it myself.
So what have been the challenges so far, in growing the business, and what were the challenges you went through? Because some of these things are some of the things that some of the entrepreneurs watching, the executives watching, people who have businesses watching right now will learn from in also helping to build their own businesses. So what are the challenges you've gone through so far?
Well, for me personally, it's always been about marketing. Uh,
Okay.
a shout out to to Armando and some other folks that have
Yeah.
helped help kind of hone the message a little bit. Uh, and So that's always been the thing. I know what I do, I just don't have a good way of simplifying it and making it easy for people to understand, right? So that's always been my biggest challenge. But thankfully, most of my clients are referrals, and so that hasn't been an issue. However, if it's ever going to scale bigger than that, from a scalability perspective, the message has to be very clear and concise.
So tell me a little bit about referrals, because clearly, I mean, the business has benefited a lot from referrals, right?
Yeah, I think the impact, it's just a month to month type of an agreement. And so I earn my keep every month. And at some point, if there's no
Mhm.
value, there's no value. If there is, we continue. So it's really a really easy arrangement, and as a result, I think people continue to get the value, and as they come across people that they think might have some benefit from these talking to me on the introduction, then we see where it goes
I
from
mean,
there.
speaking about referrals, I mean, you're preaching to the preacher here, because I'm into marketing. I'm into CRMs. I'm into you know everything all about online marketing, right? So, but I've always known one thing, that word of mouth is almost more powerful, right, than any form of online marketing. I can tell you that for sure. So that's one thing I know some of our audience are not really taking into real consideration. That's why I asked that question. And I wish you could actually, go deeper into, word of mouth.
So, what I do is very confidential. It's very private for most people. Um, and so there's a high level of trust and credibility that needs to
Yeah.
exist before this can take place. So many times the referral is the best way to do it. So if you think about like an attorney or a CPA, uh,
Yeah.
you know, in today's world, even a car mechanic, right? I'm not going online to find my attorney. I'm not looking for my CPA by an online marketing ad unless it's something that something they unless something really pops. I'm necessarily not picking my attorney from a Facebook ad, right? Same way with the car mechanic, because I
Yeah.
have trouble. At least me personally, I don't know about everybody. I have trouble identifying a good car mechanic from everybody else. So I'm calling my friend for, hey, where do you take your car, right? I need this done on my car. Where do you go? And so I get that referral that way. So I think
Yeah.
that having that kind of depth is very important. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Armando's model of the podcast, and now your podcast. I think it's a similar model where um, getting the word out and letting people experience you through
Yeah.
podcasts, and just having understanding an online presence where some differentiation. Well, I can't even say that word, can I? Differentiation can be done, right? So that people can actually see the difference and experience it before they even pick up the phone and call you, right? I think all those
Yeah.
things now. I think the online component of referrals now is much more about understanding who that person is and experiencing them online, and getting to know who they are that way in a very passive, not engaging way first before I
Mhm.
engage.
Yeah, honestly, it's all about engaging with people, getting to know people on a one-on-one basis. Sometimes it's easier to even close that way, than typical online ads, right? Many people don't understand this. Online ads, they work, but sometimes, like you said, word of mouth is king. Referrals, amazing. It works like fire. Amanda keeps saying this over and over again. So before I deviate from it, I just want to find out something. What was that point you got to in your business where it was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore? What was that point?
Do I want to do this anymore or not?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. That would be. I had a client that this it's always a journey, right? We always get better at what we do,
Yeah.
and I had a client that I violated their the trust they put in me by like, because I lost sync with the client, right? The most
Okay.
important thing about what I do is that I'm in sync with, I'm very present to where the client is and where the client is not. And
Okay.
in this particular situation, I lost the uh, I lost that presence, right? So I knew where I wanted to, and I ended up taking the client where I wanted to go instead of where the client wanted to go in that conversation. Um, and that's not fair to the client. It's not fair to anybody. It
Okay.
became more about my ego than anything else, and I share that openly because, you know, uh, hiding it is the absolutely wrong thing to do. It's absolutely it doesn't help, right? it actually speaks volumes to somebody who can actually appreciate that and take the next step. And I call one on myself because I think that, you know, for your audience, as they look at things that they're working with, right?
Yeah.
How many things am I avoiding acknowledging and I keep running from, and it keeps me from doing, you know, making the impact that I want to make.
Yeah.
So I actually cleaned the client back up. I cleaned it up with the client. We re-engaged. And if I hadn't, I would have, you know, and then I was able to make a difference in a way that otherwise I wasn't going to be able to make. And that person was able to do the things that they actually wanted to do. They may have found another path, maybe not, right?
Yeah.
Whatever their journey was. However, because I did that, I had the privilege of playing a small part in that path going forward, that journey going forward. If I had just let it go, I wouldn't have had that. So that moment was about, what do I do now, right? Because if I didn't clean it up, then what kind of coach am I? Here
Yeah.
I am telling all these people to take the bigger game, you know, the name of my podcast, play the bigger game, do all of that, and here I am playing it small. So, uh, so I think that was a pivotal moment, right? Acknowledging my own humanity in a different way.
Amazing. Amazing. Honestly amazing. So you give us a typical, mindset shift, right? Because as a coach, it's all about mindset shift, right? It's all about shifting the mindset when I'm coming to see you. When an executive is coming to see a Abizer, it's all about the mindset shift. Could you give us a little description of that mindset shift, that you
You
actually
know,
handle?
yeah. So, you know, a funny example, right? Uh, you know, Jesse, I can tell you that you smell, right? And if I'm being rude about it, then you're gonna
Okay.
slap me. And if I'm
Yeah,
being supportive about
definitely.
it, if I'm being supportive about it, you're gonna thank me. Like, oh, let me go take care of that. Right? It's the exact
Yes.
same words. It is strictly a pivot from coming from a place of rudeness and
Yeah.
judgment and about me, right? Because that comes in when I'm rude to you, it's all about me. It's the impact you had on me, and now I got to deal with this odor and whatever, and you know all of that, and it's not very helpful. It's very judgmental. It's all about me. It's all about my ego, right? And
Yeah.
when I'm being supportive and say it, now it's all about you. It's all about uplifting
Yeah.
you. It's about love and care for you. It's a much different energy, right? And you're feeling that energy. It's the same words. However, you're feeling
Yeah.
the energy, right? And you're experiencing it. So even you feel better.
You know,
So when I'm
just
leading a
saying it
team,
right
so
now.
if I translate that
Hmm.
to a executive at an organization, and I am caught in the old conversation, then everything around me is, you know, a struggle.
Yeah.
If not for me, because I'm in the power seat and I can say what I want without repercussion or to a limit, right? And people aren't going to talk back to me, for example.
Yeah.
However, I'm not getting the results I want from my team, and I can't figure out why, right? Because no one's going to tell me that. Or the flip side, where I'm being that love and kindness, and now there's an open, almost a flat organization where my door is always open. People are coming to share with me. Ideas are pouring in from the organization. And as a
Yeah.
result, the organization's growing and growing because all these people have these great ideas, and they know they're going to be heard. They may not all be taken because they all may not fit somehow in the bigger vision. At least I got heard.
Awesome. Awesome. Honestly, the reason why I asked you that was because um there has to be that typical point, so an executive gets to, you know, before he's like, well, I think I need some help. I think I need to meet Ambiza. That was why I actually asked you that question. So rolling down, I just want to find out what are the lessons you've learned so far. Lessons learned so far in the business.
I would say that patience,
Ooh,
patience,
very important.
and commitment, right? And there's something about movement. So taking a small action every day,
Yeah.
and consistently, right, is the key. And being patient. It's so easy to get to head trash and so easy to make up stuff. That person not returning my call, that he must not want the service. He may not be interested. I can go to all these. Did I say the wrong thing? I can go to so many different places. And in reality, it could just be as simple as the person being too busy to return my call right now, is thinking about it, and will get back to me when he or she is ready. Right? It could just be
Yeah.
that simple, right? And to
I,
give people the
I can't
grace
agree
and
more.
myself the grace to do that is huge, right? It's huge to be able to just take a step back and have faith, right? If it's gonna work, it's gonna work out the way it's gonna work out no matter what. I just get to keep taking those steps. I can't be sitting on a mountaintop somewhere, with my legs crossed, waiting for money to fall out of the sky or for opportunities to fall out of the sky. It doesn't work that way. However, I can have the faith that if I keep taking the steps, bring positive energy to the world, that it'll come back to
Mhm.
me in one form or another.
Okay, as we roll down, you made mention of head trash, and actually, whenever the word head trash rings in my ear, I always love to hear more about that head trash. Can you give us a bit about head trash?
So head trash is just it's drama, right? It's anything. It's part of the armor conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
I create a bunch of armor so that I don't get when the conversation collapses around me and becomes all around about
Yeah.
me in the conversation. Then, in order to protect myself from getting hurt or my perception of getting hurt, I create a bunch of head trash. Jesse's not returning my call. He probably doesn't want the service. Woe is me. I get to be the victim in that conversation, right? The guy cut me off in traffic. He's XYZ. I can get angry. I can do all these things. Or I could just send this person along with, a positive thoughts and positive energy. I hope that person
Yeah.
gets to wherever they're going safely and has a great day. I could say that in the face of whatever comes up, I could choose that. The thing about head trash is that I'm stuck with the stench of my own head trash.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing myself a service by saying something, whatever, and getting off the hook in the moment. Again, the short term win, right? Long term, I got to smell the effects of that head trash.
Yeah.
So long term, I'm dealing with it, and it's not the bigger game at all. The bigger game is to wish that driver on his way or her way in a very sense of positive energy and some goodwill, and then experience a goodwill for myself. It may take a second for me. It may take something for me to get there and dump the head trash, and I can choose it. It's the blessing and the bane of being human, right?
Yeah.
The blessing of being able to choose and the bane of being able to choose what I want to do. It's a very significant yet insignificant thing that we walk around with as human beings. That power.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been awesome speaking with you, Abiza. As we roll down, can you tell us a bit about your new podcast, The Bigger Game?
So the
From
bigger game is
surviving to thriving.
Yeah, thank you. The bigger game is all about what I just said, playing the bigger game. So in the moment of
Mm-hmm.
that driver cuts me off in traffic, what do I do? Do I
Mm-hmm.
swear at him? Do I say some mean things and whatever and whatever and feel better for a quick second, which is a short game? Or do I
Mm-hmm.
actually wish him or her well as they drive on past and play the bigger game? Not only do they
Yeah.
get that positive energy, but because I gave them that positive energy, I got that positive energy back, and I'm feeling better too. That's the bigger game.
Yeah.
And so the podcast is all about people doing, it's people like you and I, Jesse, putting one pant leg at a time. These aren't great,
Yeah.
off the charts people or anything like that are way out of my league or anything like that. It's just everyday normal people putting one pant leg on at a time, sharing about their nuggets and their life journeys and about what lessons they've learned. So if a listener can get, take one thing away from that podcast, it's a beautiful thing, right? We made a difference for that one person. And so who knows where it goes from there? The bigger game.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. It's been an awesome experience discussing with you, Abiza. Honestly, Abiza is the man. Are you an executive? You are at that point. You need a mindset shift. Abiza is the man, man. Um, Join him on his own podcast. Is what time does it hold?
So we have twice 2 sessions once a week. It just depends on when people are available. So it's not scheduled that way, but typically about 2 sessions a week. We go live, 2 episodes.
Awesome. And we're on YouTube too. Are we on YouTube?
YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Yeah.
Abizer Rasheed, YouTube. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having and spending so much time with us. It's been an awesome experience discussing with Abizer, the transformational intention coach. Before I make a mistake, the transformational intention coach. Abizer, it's been awesome having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming around. Ladies and gentlemen, follow Abizer on YouTube. He has his own podcast, The Bigger Game. Also, watch out for his own podcast. Abiza is a great guy. Honestly, it's been awesome having you guys, having you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'll see you guys, man. All right.
Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.